Howdy out there, folks. Today we're going to take a look at this wonderful Best Buy Steelbook of Angel Heart, an Alan Parker film starring Mickey Rourke, Robert De Niro, and Lisa Bonet. And just firstly, I'll just say that the film had some measure of infamy because it was essentially given an X rating due to the really intense sex scene toward the end. And of course, that's what a lot of people remember it from. But I would argue that this movie is a film that is just exquisitely beautiful and dripping with atmosphere. I think Alan Parker just absolutely put together just a terrific sequence of images with music, courtesy of his production team, that I just think this is one of the most beautiful looking 4Ks that I own, quite frankly. It's a wonderful looking disc, great mood, and Mickey Rourke and Robert De Niro both just do a great job. Now, I will say it's interesting watching the supplemental features on this disc. It's hysterical. Mickey Rourke gives an interview, and then also he does some select scene commentary, and it's almost like he just doesn't give an F about anything. It's clear, and obviously that's been to his detriment career-wise, but I think also it in some ways explains why he's so good at what he does. He commented on how he wanted to work with Alan Parker, but he wasn't thrilled with the script. He didn't particularly care for it. And so at that time in his career, he was apparently just acting because it was a job. He didn't really have a lot of gas in the tank for enthusiasm for the career choice. He wanted to be a boxer, and sadly he did go back to that and messed his face up pretty good, and probably his head, but I digress. With this film, he basically said he didn't do any preparation for the role at all, apart from just memorize the lines and just say his lines and hit his marks. But it is, in my estimation, a testament to how good he is as an actor, that he can basically, at least in his view, phone it in and still look effortless in the part. And I think, in fact, the character that he played in this movie is someone who doesn't have a lot of depth because of the circumstances he's found himself in. And so I would argue that it was probably the perfect way to approach the role, especially if you're Mickey Rourke and you can still make it all look so effortlessly as he does. And of course, Robert De Niro just does a creepy as hell job playing Lucifer. His name in the film is Lou Cipher, and essentially what he's doing is he's hiring Mickey Rourke, who is a detective, gumshoe, to find somebody that he's looking for. And of course he doesn't introduce himself as the devil, but he's certainly pretty on the nose with his name, which is kind of a little bit of a funny running gag when Mickey Rourke continues to mispronounce his last name, calling him Cyphier and any number of varying pronunciations. But in any case, it's just a movie that I think looks exquisite. Its atmosphere is beyond reproach, and this 4K PQ and AQ look stunning. I think it's one of the best looking discs I have on my shelf. And again, the supplements are pretty interesting. There's not a lot of them, but what they do have is quite good. Lisa Bonet is in this film as well, and of course she plays a role that's pretty risque, especially given her, at that time she was working on The Cosby Show, and it's hysterical that Bill Cosby really admonished her for taking the part and said, I can't believe you're doing that, you're going to be in a sex scene and this and that and the other, and meanwhile, what we now know about Cosby, it just stay in your lane, dude. It's a pretty ballsy position to take, but of course I'm sure he wanted to keep up appearances. But in any case, as you can see, this has got a wonderful little slip, and that comes off. Let me just pull this off here. Here you go. And here's Mickey Rourke. And the inside of the disc. It's got some nice disc art. There's Mickey. There's Robert. again, I just think as far as movies about the devil go, and just films of this ilk, period pieces, sort of noir-esque movies, this is right up there with the best of them. Highly recommended. So apart from that, just hope everyone out there is doing well, staying safe, being kind, and watching good cinema. Take care.